How's it going, everyone? Matt, Leighton, Shawn Battle. Welcome back to another real estate video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about whether or not you should sell your house in the winter time. It does not feel like winter out, but the calendar indeed says that it is a Thursday at 12/16, and it also says it's January 16th.
January 16th, is that the date?
So I think it's winter.
I think it's winter, yeah.
It's winter. So
should you sell your house?
I don't know.
What do you think? That's a good question, huh?
Well, first of all, how is your day going today?
It's going good, man. Just had a new listing come on the market. Been promoting it everywhere this morning. New video came out for it. It's isn't that good?
Thanks for the water bottle.
You see that?
I was just cleaning out my
full service.
I was cleaning out my freezer and I found 6 frozen water bottles. Why are there 6 frozen water bottles in my freezer?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you. I don't.
Made no sense.
Dyslexic, or I don't know what the word is. Anyways, that doesn't mean anything. Yeah, so I got a new listing coming in.
The new video is fire.
Thank you, man. Lexington Square, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,289 square feet, priced at $669.9. I mean, it's convenient to everything. It looks great. Check out the video. Just posted it all over the place, so hopefully you guys like it.
So the video's on Instagram at Orange Line Condo, or if you just type in the address 3835 9th Street North. And it was an expired listing or withdrawn listing with another agent. They reached out to you, you staged it, you put out the video, you're advertising the video. So this is going to be a good story about how you took an expired listing, and we'll see what happens. What do you think is going to happen? You got an open house coming up, right?
Got an open house. I think it's going to be a great open house. We are in the winter.
And they're selling in the winter.
But we'll figure that why are they selling in the winter, and is it good?
Yeah.
That's the question.
So, wow, what a transition.
Wow.
Transitions like Fendi out here.
Fendi.
So, guys, it's January, and let's lay out a scenario. And the scenario is you have the luxury of selling when you would like. So you're going to sell in 2020. Should you sell in January, or should you wait until March, April, the traditional spring market to sell? Shawn, there's a couple different factors that come into play. What are your initial thoughts when it comes to should I sell now or should I wait until the springtime?
Initial thoughts, I mean, this is so broad kind of, but it really just depends on where you're located, right? Okay. So we're talking to a lot of people all over the United States, right? So you have to look at when your best market hits, right? And typically here, our best market is late March through June, like beginning of June. That's our best few months to sell. But is it always that way? And every area is going to be different. So Florida is going to be different, and Arizona is probably a different market on when the best time to sell is. So really you have to look at locality on when the best time to sell is. So
for Arlington, Virginia, let's talk about where we are the experts now. You're talking about the best time to sell is March. Why would that be better than January?
Typically, most of the people are looking to purchase at that time. When the winter starts turning into spring, everybody starts going outside. That's when they start thinking about purchasing a home. Not only that, the transition is always to try to get your kids into the new school district and settle that house in the summer so that you can get into that school and move forward. So I think that's kind of the biggest pull is the weather and the schools.
So
right?
the two factors there, well, weather, schools, but you mentioned number of buyers, typically number. Yeah. So if a property came on January 28th, would a buyer that's looking March 1st not be interested in that property? They
would be interested, but they might not be ready. Mm-hmm. So most people's mentality is like, okay, January, we're going to start talking to lenders and we're going to start figuring it out. And then they start looking at listings a little more. And then all of a sudden, March, April hits around and they're like, we're ready, right? And that's kind of the typical time frame. But is that the right thing to think about, right? So now we're in a different kind of market. Typically, I would say, wait till spring, sell it in the spring. It's going to be awesome, right? The spring market just has so many people coming out, and you're going to have great open houses. But we have seen a transition in this last year. What are your thoughts? I mean, like, completely different, right?
My thoughts are, when does the spring market start?
It's different every year, right?
I've seen it's going to start this year.
I think it's already started, to be honest. Usually, I see a start of an uptick in late January. Sometimes it's waited till February, March, and sometimes some years you don't see it at all. You don't even see a spring market. I've seen flat years, right? This year is different. And this year, I think selling in the winter can actually be really good. And here's the reason. There are a ton of holdover buyers from last year. Think about the competition that we were in last year, right? We were writing offers, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 offers on properties. How many of those people got in? The inventory has been so low. Low inventory. So we're still on a really, really low inventory. But all those holdover buyers are ready. They're still ready. They're still sitting there. So we're still seeing multiple contracts in January. So is that better to list now when you've got all of these people that are hanging out for 0 listings, 1 listing, 2 listings? Or do you wait, have more buyers come in, but then there's a ton of listings, right? Yeah. We have a flood of listings. So your competition when you sell your house is much higher. And so do you want to be competing against those people?
Yeah, you make a good point. I was showing properties, townhouses in Alexandria last Saturday. I got there 10 minutes early, got the keys, standing outside, it's walk upstairs, so I'm up here. And it felt like I just robbed a bank and the SWAT team was coming in because there were like cars coming from every direction to show the property at 11 a.m. on a Saturday, like a sunny, 65-degree day.
In January.
That's and then one of the agents was like, the spring market has sprung. I'm like, man, take a shot every time you hear someone say the spring market has sprung. I despise that saying. Don't take a shot because we want you to live.
I was just going to say that, but I'll refrain from saying it.
I'm just joking. It has sprung. It has sprung,
It's here.
Shawn.
It's here, man.
Like a flower, it has sprung.
Yeah.
But, I was just thinking about our market compared to other markets, and I think we're blessed in a sense. And I know that sounds backwards, but every market has a problem. There's not going to be this perfect market out there. Some markets like New York City, they can't sell a property to save their life up in New York City. In Miami, inventory is at I don't want to say all-time high, but there's so many properties available. How blessed are we that people, actually want to live here? You ever search for properties in New Jersey? Everyone's leaving that state.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to live in Arlington, in Northern Virginia. Sure, it becomes excruciatingly difficult to sell a property, but I'm just grateful that we live in an area that's desired, and it's not necessarily a healthy market right now, but what it is it's a well-insulated market that
super insulated.
People want to be here and are willing to pay a premium. But when it comes to the spring market and selling in the winter time, well, those people that I showed on Saturday with everyone seeing it, we only saw 4 properties. There's only 4 properties that meet their criteria. Now, none of them worked out, but we saw like the same group at multiple. That ever happened to you?
They all follow each other to the next listing.
So when you're a seller, what's your competition? So you could be selling in the March timeframe when half your block is for sale and you're gonna have a lot more competition. Why not list a little bit earlier? You're gonna have no competition. And then you're going to have the holdover buyers from the fall that have now learned what it takes to win a multiple offer scenario in this market. And then 2, you're going to have those buyers that have their stuff together and are ready to put in an offer on your property.
Competition is fierce. I mean, I'm a real estate agent. I am buying this year, and I'm in fear of my competition because I've seen the contracts they write. There's a lot of cash out there. And so when they get their stuff ready and they're thinking, all right, spring is when everything's coming on, and they start purchasing these properties, the buy side gets a lot more difficult, but the sell side is extremely good right now. Yeah. I'm selling my house. I could put it on right now. I think it's a good time for me to sell. There's nothing in my neighborhood that's for sale. My problem is I've got to find something else, and inventory is just not coming for me. But if I sell now, I get a rent back for 2 months. Then I'm hitting that spring market when more things are coming on, and as a buyer, I can look at things. But I'm going to be competing like crazy.
Yeah, and
So
can you find a property in that 2-month time frame?
Yeah, that's the downside. So.
And one thing to think about when you are competing, obviously money talks, and usually that's the seller's number one driver, but what I've seen is that convenience is also a driver, and that comes down to cash. So just because you have the highest offer, you may be competing with someone with cash that can close in 1 week. And if someone can close in 1 week and miss out on $5,000 compared to waiting a whole month, waiting for the appraisal process where the property has escalated $30,000 over, well, you may have the highest offer, but at the end of the day, what is the best for the seller? Sometimes they just want to wipe their hands and get rid of it. So you really got to come up with competitive offers to win these properties in the spring and winter market.
Yeah, and I think you have to figure out what that seller's looking for, because sometimes it's a rent back that they want, right? They need that cozy feeling that they can stay in their house 2 months after closing so that they could find something. And they might take that offer. I've won offers based on a rent back. I might not have been the highest, but they loved that cushion. And so we got either the counter or the ratified contract, right?
You basically just have to give them everything that
give them what they want, right?
Make it as easy as possible and stress-free as possible, and cross your fingers and buckle up, buckaroo.
Yeah.
It's going to be a wild ride.
It's going to be a wild ride. So do you sell in the winter? I think you can in certain markets and certain areas. Now, one thing I was thinking of is like, what if you have an ugly yard, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't grow any grass, you got moss, and it's snowing, right? And it's like, sometimes the winter looks nice and clean.
Right.
And so that might be a good time for you ugly yard people to sell. Right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. There's no snow on the ground.
You don't have to do the mulch. You don't have to cut the grass before you don't have to worry about the maintenance of your yard.
Yeah.
So there are some positives to it,
Yeah,
right?
there are.
Yeah.
I think the biggest positive is no competition. A
Yeah.
lot less, even less inventory in the wintertime.
Yep.
And ugly yards.
And ugly
I
yards.
haven't. Go outside and look at your
Oh,
yard is nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
Your
It's
yard
nice.
is like the ninth fairway over at Haynes Point.
Oh yeah, you should see it, man. I manicure it. I'm like down on my hands and
I
knees,
see it
scrubbing
out
it
there
and
with
massaging
clippers.
it.
Yeah, it's not. What you got? Kentucky bluegrass.
Hey, you got to
out
do
there?
what you got to do.
Cool. All right, well, guys, let us know your thoughts about selling in the wintertime, if you would consider it, or if you're more of the traditional seller selling in the springtime. Well, for Shawn and myself, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, we'll see you then.
Take care.